Okay, so first step in changing the Crazy Cart's tire is removing the Allen wrench screw from the chain guard using a 5/32 Allen wrench, and it's a bit difficult to get to. Okay, so now you're going to use a socket, 5/8 socket on one side and a crescent wrench on the other, and unscrew the bolts holding the wheel on. The axle's free floating, so if you turn one side, it will turn the other. Okay, once you get the nut off and the washers, the axle just slides out at this point. All you're going to want to do is get a punch or a screwdriver or something, put it on the edge of that axle, and then just gently tap it to get the axle out. Okay, now with the axle out, why I didn't take off the chain guard before, I have no idea, but before you would even take the axle out, it's a good idea to take the chain guard off. These last two screws on either side with a Phillips head, make this part a little bit easier. With the axle out, you just slide that wheel down a little bit and kind of turn it and then pull the chain off. The chain will just roll right off of the wheel. So using a 5/16 socket, you pull the gear off of one side of the wheel. There's just 3 bolts, and then the gear just slides right off, and that will give you access to the Allen screws to pull the rim apart. So you just use the Allen wrench to remove these 4 screws right here, and then the wheel will just separate. Pull the wheel apart, and this is what happened to mine. My kids hit something with it, and the stem just broke off of the tube right there, so that's why it just needs a new tube. And you just pull out that tube and put in a new tube. I will leave the tube that I used down in the description. It's a good idea, just like on a bike tire, put a little air in the tube, just a tiny bit. I put in too much a couple times and I had to take air out, just a tiny little bit, and then stuff that tube inside of the tire and make sure that the tube is even within the tire. There's nothing bound up or bunched up or anything like that. Okay, now that you got the tube in, you're going to stick the piece of rim on the side that the stem comes through. Right there, and you can put the little cap on the stem to hold it in place. Okay, one thing I forgot to show right here is inside of that rim there's a little metal piece, like a cylinder that the axle slides through. So that's why the axle is in it, is when I put it back together, I put the axle in it to screw it back together to hold that little cylinder in place, and then once you tighten the rim back on, you can pull the axle out and it holds that little cylinder perfectly in place. So here, once you put it back on, just tighten those screws and just repeat the process back to where you came. One thing I didn't show in the beginning were these two little pieces right here. They go in either side of the wheel in the two little holes, and they're actually what hold the wheel to the forks of the Crazy Cart, and they're kind of a pain to get into position with the cart. And then to put the chain on, you just drop the wheel back on, same way you did, a little bit lower. Kind of like riding a bike, set the chain on the gear and then just slowly turn the wheel and the chain will pop right on. Okay, so you can kind of see in the video, I got the axle in. I had to do this a bunch of times to kind of get these things to fit. So the chain side was easier to get that little piece in because there was less room on that side. So started with the chain side, got that side in with the axle, then put this side on, and then able to force it through. Once you get it through the cylinder and hooked onto the arm, you can just give it a little tap with the hammer, and it'll push it through. It's a little bit of a snug fit. And once you get that other nut on, tighten it up, throw your chain guard back on, and you are done.